I remember when I first came here, one of the series we did at church was Before I Die, I Want to ... And all the pastors preached. And so that was one of the times I shared probably a more in-depth about Gabriel than I maybe have before. And what I said was, before I die, I want to have a conversation with my son where he can really tell me how he feels, what he thinks, and really begin to see his personality blossom and bloom. And my faith comes into play because I believe that will happen. I already was planning ahead, so for what Gabriel would need if I were to, when I was to move, because I knew a move was going to happen. I just didn't know where. Finding out that I was moving from Kansas City to Columbia was exciting. I had only known Kansas City, had only known what it meant to take care of Gabriel in Kansas City. We had all kinds of services already set up in Kansas City, and so now I had to figure out what that looked like here. And that was nerve-wracking and exhausting and scary, seriously, because I just didn't know how it was gonna work. I trusted that it would work, but I didn't know that. So I didn't know enough about Columbia really at that point to know what my options were gonna be here. So I remember, I think the first thing I did was find out that they had an Easter Seals here. At church, I remember doing an end service, and so Easter Seals will provide community support. So the students who worked in the nursery got a 1-hour training specifically on Gabriel. Like, they talked about here's what autism is, but then they talked about here's what that looks like in Gabriel, and here are some things you can say to him. Then be able to ask the person questions that they may have been hesitant to ask me, and even trying to build a relationship with some of them so that they would be comfortable, like, tell me what happened so I can give you suggestions. You know, I really learned what community meant because I really had to trust people because I could not do all of this. For Gabriel, I just knew he would need to find his routine, and to date I hadn't been like super routine. And so I was nervous, like, oh, I really have to do this now. And we did several visits to Columbia, where they were coming to this house, which we affectionately titled the Little White House. And so we would talk about the Little White House. I had pictures of the Little White House, talked about their room. Some of the hard things, I guess, you know, for Gabriel, which I didn't know to know even, where it was just finding a daycare where he could be. When you have a child on the spectrum, there are things he can do really well, and there are things that, you know, not at all. And so it's really a very vulnerable experience to go into a daycare and say, so here's my kid. Would this even be a place that he could be? We went through, if you say went through, 2 daycares before I essentially just took him out of daycare. So that first year looked like him having early childhood special education. So that was half a day. And then the other half of the day, he would have ABA therapy at the church, in the church nursery while I worked. I tell people that having a child on the spectrum was like awesome in the respect that I got a manual in a very specific way. Do this, do this, do this. And so, like, I can tell anybody any time of the day or week, do these things with Gabriel. I know what to do. I know what will help and what will work. With Levi, now I understand when they say you don't get a manual. Like, well, I tried this yesterday and it worked, and today it isn't. I wish I could just get it right each time, which I feel like more with Gabriel. If I don't know the answer, I can call 1 million people and ask and have 1 million ways to try. But with Levi, it's that you try it and see, and I guess that's what parenting actually is about. My big concern is just always, I don't want him to resent his brother. I don't want him to feel like he's, you know, he gets leftovers, but that he does get what he needs, and that what he needs is not the same as his brother. So let's not compare, you know, an hour here to his 30 minutes or whatever that, you know, equation might be. That first year or so, I mean, I wasn't, you know, being in the office all the time, or, you know, just really nervous, like, do people think I'm getting my work done? I was, but I just felt I wasn't. It was just new territory. Just so, always checking in with Kendall, and he was like, "What are you talking about? Like everything's fine." I'm like, "Okay." So I leave work every day, even now, 2:15, 2:20. Go to pick up kids. I'm home by 3 on Mondays and Wednesdays, and all other days I'm in therapy with Gabriel. Yeah, I think I have a lot more compassion for myself, give myself a lot more space to screw up or to just say, you know, your idea is great and it really covers everything from A to Z. But they've never done this here at this church. Why not just do A to D today?